वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So today we will be doing the concluding part of the discussion on the 4 kinds of devotees as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So we've already done the first 2 verses on this subject, and today we will do the remaining 2 verses. So the 2 verses are in front of you, which we have completed. चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जना सुकृतिनो अर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्त एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः. So, Chaturvidha bhajante mam, 4 kinds of people adore me. All are Sukritina, doer of good deeds. Who are they? Artha, the afflicted, Jikyasu, one who wants the knowledge of God, Artharthi, who wants worldly enjoyments, and last of all, the Jnani, one who has already realized God. Of them, Tesham, the Jnani, is Vishishyate. He is the best. He excels everybody. Why? For 2 reasons. He is Nitya Yukta. He is ever joined to God. And he is Eka Bhakti. Eka Bhakti means he is only devoted to God and nothing else. Because of this, and because the Jnani, I am so dear to the Jnani, the Jnani is also so very dear to me. This is what God has said, we have already seen. Now the next 2 verses. Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam आस्थित सहि युक्तात्मा मामेवानुत्तमां गतिं बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभः. So we will start with the verse number 18. उदारा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी तु आत्मैव मे मतम आस्थित सहि युक्तात्मा माम एव अनुत्तमाम गतिम. This is what God says. So the Jnani has such a special place that the Lord, in 3 verses, he describes his qualities, his great qualities. The others, Artha, Jigyasu, Artharthi, he mentions in 1 verse, but the Jnani is so special. And also because this is the aim, our final aim towards all humankind should be striving for. And there is nothing higher than the Jnani. So that is why maybe the Lord in 3 verses he describes the excellences of a knower of God. So in the past shloka, in the last shloka, we've seen that it is true that all these 4 are Sukritina, they are performers of good deeds, but because a Jnani has done so much good deeds as to become completely unselfish, and because of this, the divine knowledge has arisen in his heart. That is why he excels everybody, that we have seen the last time. So now, when God says that the man of knowledge is dearest to me, does this mean that the others are not dear? No, the others are also very much dear, which the Lord specifies in verse number 18, which we will start now. So, what does God say? Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam. Udara, or the Udara means excellent. Sarva eva, all these four are indeed excellent. But what is the speciality about a Jnani? Jnani tu is but. Verily. Jnani tu, what is the speciality about the Jnani? The Lord answers this, Atma eva. He is my very self. This is a fantastic statement. I mean, it's unimaginable, the praise which the Lord showers on the Jnani. See, there are two things. One is that someone is dear to us, but the other is that someone is so dear that we think that he is ourself. It is a wonderful declaration by the God that all these people are dear, but Jnani is verily my own self. He is not different from me. Me matam means that is my firm conclusion. And after this, God says the reason, Asthita sahi yuktatma mame vanuttamam gatim. Asthita sahi yuktatma. Yuktatma we have seen, it means with a steadfast mind. He has accepted me alone as the anuttamam gatim, super excellent goal. Super excellent goal, even it is said even above the excellent, just to make us aware that how very precious God is to the Jnani. So, Jnani is my own self, God says, because with a steadfast mind, he has accepted me alone as the super excellent goal. So, sarva ete, all these, the three, the afflicted, the jigyasu artharthi, who are my devotees, they are all dear to me, they are all udara. But a Jnani is so dear that he is non-different from me. This is a unbelievable thing which God says, that a Jnani is not different from God. He has evolved to such an extent that he has, by knowing the divine, he has become the divine. That is the thing. So all these are great. All the three are great. The artharthi, the one who wants worldly pleasures, and of course the jigyasu, all they are great. Why? Why are they great? Madhusudan Saraswati explains this beautifully in his commentary on the Gita. He says they are all great, these three. Why? On account of having an abundance of numerous virtues earned in previous lives. So they are all Sukritina, we have said. So all these virtues they have accumulated in their previous life, otherwise they would not have adored God at all. For there is no dearth of afflicted persons and seekers of wealth who are averse to God. There is no dearth of afflicted persons in the world, we know. Everybody is afflicted by some misery or the other. And there is no dearth at all of people seeking enjoyment. All the people in the world nearly are seeking enjoyment. So there is no dearth of people who are afflicted and seeking enjoyment, but who are averse to God. How many people who are afflicted and who are seekers of enjoyment are devoted to God? Very rare. Very rare. That is why God says, Madhusudan says in his commentary, that they are very dear, very great, because there are so many hundreds and thousands of people who are afflicted and who are seeking enjoyment. But how many of these are devoted to God and rely only upon God to get what they seek? Very few. So all these three are great, but, and they are indeed dear to me, God says, but since they are also attached to the world, they are not jnanis yet. They are great. And they are great because, simply because they love God. That is the thing. So, this we should understand, because there are so many people in the world who are afflicted and who want wealth. But very rare are those who seek these things only from God and who are truly devoted to God. This is the person. You see, an ordinary person who is an artha means he is afflicted. What will he do? They will ask anybody to remove their affliction, to remove their misery. If they are in want of wealth, they will go to a rich man, beg from him, or they will go to a king, etc. They will try to remove their misery by any means possible. They will not look upon God to remove their miseries. But a devotee who is artha, he will look only up to God to remove his affliction. This is the thing. So, by this, I do not mean that they will say, God, only if you appear before me and you remove my affliction, I will accept that. Not that. They don't expect that God will reveal himself to them and remove their affliction. No. God may come in any form. God may come in the form of a doctor. God may come in the form of a well-wisher. So there is a story about this. A person was drowning in a river. So one person went past him with a boat. He was on a boat. So he extended his hand to the person who was drowning. Come on my boat. So that drowning person said, no, God will save me. Okay, that person went away. After some time, again a second person came on a boat. Again, he extended his hand. Come on my boat. No, God will save me. So after this, a third person came. Come, you don't have much time. No. God will save me. And after that, that man drowned. So he was a devotee after all, so he went to heaven. So he said, God, you have not fulfilled your promise. So many times I called upon you, you did not come to save me. So God said, you fool, I had come 3 times, I had come thrice. Thrice I had come to you and called you. Come, save yourself. You did not come. What can I do? So it is not that when we say that artha devotee depends only on God, we should not think that he expects God to give him a vision and give him everything. No. It is The thing is, he relies only on God. God may send whatever he has to, whatever help he has to, through any means. That is also from God. See, when you have not asked any human being or any other, you have not adopted any worldly means to remove your affliction, but still help comes, then what do you say? You say it is from God. When some help comes unexpectedly, without your knowing about it, without your consciously asking for it, and you have just been praying to God, so what will you gather from that? Of course, that God is helping you in that form. So this we should remember. And if someone gives you with loves anything, when you know that someone is giving and he has no ulterior motive, he is giving only because of pure love, that is also a gift from God. So there is no harm if we accept that. We should not accept anything when there is a motive behind that gift. But when a person gives with love, there is no harm in accepting that. There is a story not a story, an incident in Swami Sardanandaji's life. I will tell it to you in detail later on. It is such a touching incident. I will just tell you one thing which is related to this. Swami Sardananda, when he heard that a person was suffering from TB, he himself had gone to his home and sat by his bedside and was nursing him. That time, TB was deadly. There was no cure for TB. Knowing this, Sardananji had gone to that person. Not only that, that person was coughing all the time. All the germs are coming. In that state, that person cut a fruit and gave to Swami Sardananda to eat. It would have meant sure death. Sardananji ate that also. A brahmachari was following Sardananji. He told Maharaj, what have you done? Then Sardananji said, if somebody gives anything with love, there is no harm in accepting that. Of course, this incident is a much longer one. Maybe we'll discuss it later. So this is the thing, that when God helps a devotee, it is not that he will appear himself necessarily, no. But he may send through any agency, through any other human being, any other animal also sometimes. But so this means that an artha devotee, artharthi devotee, and of course a jigyasu will depend only on God. That is the thing. So Holy Mother, once she had gone to Varanasi. So in Varanasi, she had met many saints of that time, Bhaskarananji and others also. So to one saint she has gone who was a follower of Guru Nanak. Another was Chameli Puri. Chameli Puri was a great saint in Varanasi. So when Holy Mother and Golapma had gone to Chameli Puri, Mother asked Chameli Puri, who arranges for your food? So Chameli Puri, who was very old at that time, he replied with great devotion, it is Mother Durga alone who does so. Who else would? Who else but the Divine Mother arranges for all my needs? So this reply pleased Holy Mother greatly. So much so, when on the following day, Holy Mother's attendant asked her that, would you like to visit any other saint? So Mother said, what saints will I see now? I have seen that great saint Chameli Puri. I have seen that holy man, so I don't need to see any other saint. That was because Chameli Puri meant what he said. He actually saw that everything which was coming, all the help, it may have been through some human agency, that is true, but it was from God only. And he relied on God only. That is the main thing. So this is about the Artha and the Artharthi devotees. And of course, the Jnani doesn't even ask for removing his distress and all. He is far above that. He has already realized God. So God, of course, takes care of him. That Shri Krishna has said in the Gita also, that those who think of me uninterruptedly, I supply them with whatever they want. God himself takes care of those devotees directly. So this is one thing, and this is the difference between a Jnani and a Artha and Artharthi devotees, etc. And the other difference is that the love of the Artha devotee and the Artharthi devotee are divided. Their devotion is not Eka Bhakti. They have Bhakti, but that Bhakti is not Eka Bhakti. Their devotion is divided. For example, an Artharthi loves God, but he also loves enjoyment. So his devotion is towards God plus enjoyment. That is the problem. So that is why they are yet to become Jnanis. That is why they are inferior to Jnanis, because Jnani is Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate. Jnani is excellent because he is devoted only to God and God alone. In fact, he sees that there is nothing except God in the whole universe. His state is an extraordinary one that cannot be compared with anybody. So, in spite of the fact that God says that the Udara, the Artharthi, Artha and Jigyasu devotees are Udara, they are very great, but still Jnani stands in a different category because he is my very self only. This is the thing. So, Udara Sarva Evaite. This is what God says. Udara. Now, Udara is translated as excellent, but let us go a little deeper and see what is the meaning of the word. So, I will just one second. Let me. I found it so important that I want to mention it separately. This is the meaning of Udara. Udara means Datri Mahato. Datri means one who gives, one who has learned to give, who does not hoard, who hoard his wealth, who is not miserly, who is generous and charitable. He is called a Datri, a giver. But a further adjective is added here, this Datri Mahato. Mahat means comes from Mahan. Mahan means great. So he is a great giver. Means what? He gives even beyond his capacity. This is the significance of the word Udara. There may be charitable people in the world, but there are very few who can give even beyond their capacity. So here they are all Udaras. Now you see, God says that the Artha, the Artharthi and the Jigyasu, they are all Udaras. They are all great. So here what does great mean? good. See, Sukritina, we have said that those are all doers of good. Now, this we should not understand in the ordinary sense. Ordinary sense, so many people are there who can be called good. In society, what do we see? Anybody who does not commit a crime, anybody who does not use any illegal means for earning wealth, all of they are good. So if we think that we are just like them and we have become Udara and we have become Sukritina and we have become great, we will be mistaken. It is not so easy to become a devotee of God. That just by not doing anything illegal we can become Udara. It is not that. This is the significance of Udara. Udara means Datri Mahato. He is so great that he even gives sometimes beyond his means. And such people are there in the world. There was a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Ishan Chandra Mukhopadhyay. Ishan Chandra Mukhopadhyay was such a person. Of course, we will all read their lives later. Now I am just mentioning his name. He was such a generous person that Swami Vivekananda himself said that there are very, very few persons in the world so noble like Ishan. So these are the people who are Udara. So when we think that, when we read this, that Sukritina, doer of good, are all so great, then we are also Sukritina because we are also doing good. So here we should not think that an ordinary good person is meant. No. They are so noble that actually they cannot be compared with ordinary people at all, these devotees. Their nobility is such. So many examples are there in the world. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was there. We cannot even think, we cannot even imagine such nobility of heart. So of course their lives are wonderful. Maybe we can discuss them on some later date. So Udara here means a very, very great person. Only these persons can relate themselves to God, and that is why they are great. This we should remember. The Artha devotee, Artharthi devotee, and of course the Jigyasu devotee, they are all so great. Why? Because they have related themselves to God by their nobility of character. Their master is God, and one whose master is so great, if we are related to someone very great, that itself sometimes becomes a sign of greatness. Now in the world you have seen many times. See, if there is a same great person, like suppose Trudeau. Now Trudeau, President of Canada, suppose his driver is there. He comes in a car, he must have a driver. So if 10 other drivers are sitting somewhere, if the driver of Trudeau goes there, he will occupy a special place. And he will be a little, I am not an ordinary person. I am the driver of the President of Canada. Why? There may be nothing great in Trudeau's driver as such. He may not be a PhD or something. But why is he considered great, and why is he considering himself special? Because he is related to a great person. It is just every day we see instances of this fact. So the Artha devotee, the Artharthi devotee, and the Jigyasu devotee are great because their master is great. Their master is the greatest. It is God himself. That is why they are great. They have built a relationship with the greatest being in the world, that is God. They feel that God is their friend, their relative, their support, their everything. Pitu Matu Swami Sakha Hamare. We have seen that in that bhajan last time. Pitu Matu, everything. You are my father, you are my mother. There is another beautiful verse. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha Tvameva. त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव. So these people, they are Udara, the Artha, the Artharthi, and the Jigyasu, because they have related themselves to God with such kind of devotion that even when they are in need, they turn to no one else but God. And they are Datri Mahata. They are such generous and charitable people that sometimes they give even beyond their means. So only by this kind of sacrifice can one become Udara, one become great. We should not think that just here it is meant some ordinary kind of good people. No. Not all good people can become devotees, because this is a very special category. It is not for ordinary people at all. So all devotees, whosoever they may be, if they are genuinely devotees, be a man of knowledge or even if they are unenlightened, they are great. No doubt. Then what is so special about a jnani? What is so special about a jnani? We have already seen. Again, I will illustrate this through a wonderful example. When I had read this, I enjoyed it so much. Such a wonderful example. See, in India, two poets are recognized as the greatest ever. No one can even come close to them. Two Sanskrit poets are recognized as the greatest. Everybody admits that. Who are they? One is Kalidas. I think you have all heard his name. Kalidas, the great poet who has written this, so many Shakuntala and all that, many great works. And another was Dandin. Dandin, he was 7th, 8th century. He lived in those times, and he was an Indian Sanskrit grammarian and author of prose romances. So he is supposed to be one of the best known writers in Asian history, Dandin. And Dandin, about Dandin is said that Dandina Padalalityam. Dandin is a master of playful words. So now what happened? Now once happened that both Kalidas and Dandin, it is just a story mind you, so both of them once claimed to be the greatest. Like here Pele and Maradona, sometimes they both claim to be the greatest footballer in history. So of course that was a real, but this is just a story. So once Dandin and Kalidas both claimed to be the greatest poet. Now whom to go for judgment? Who is fit to judge them? They were so great. So they thought, let us go to goddess Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, because only she is fit to tell who is the greatest among us. So Kalidas and Dandin both went to goddess Saraswati and they asked her, Mother, please tell us who is the greatest between me and this other fellow. So Saraswati answered, Kavir dandi, Kavir dandi, Kavir dandi, na sanshayah. So Saraswati said, Dandi, 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 na sanshayah. He is great. There is no doubt about this. So poor Kalidas, when he heard this, he was downcast. What could he say? So he only asked, Devi, what about me? Devi said, Tvam tu mad rupa eva. You are my own self. Dandan is great, but you are so special. Tvam tu mad rupa eva. You are you are also learning as it were in human form. Tvam tu mad rupa eva. So here also God says, Jnani tu, but Jnani is Atmaiva. He is my Atma. He is my very self. Such a beautiful way. See, there are two words in Sanskrit, in of course Hindi and Bengali also. Atmiya and Atma. Atmiya means relatives. Relatives means here it is used in the sense of those who are dear to us. One who is a Atmiya, he may be a friend, he may be a relative, he is dear to us, but he is separate from us. But when one is someone else's Atma, means there is no separation at all. So that is why in Sri Ramakrishna's life we also see that, Sri Ramakrishna used to smoke this hubble bubble and all, tobacco. So once what happened, Swamiji was also smoked with him. Sri Ramakrishna forced him to smoke with his pipe. And after Swamiji had smoked, Sri Ramakrishna took it and began to again smoke with that own without cleaning it also. So Swamiji told him, Sir, what are you doing? Let me clean this. Sri Ramakrishna said, You rascal, you have such a sense of difference. And he didn't listen to Swamiji. He began to smoke with the same. Nobody could even think that Sri Ramakrishna would do that with any other person. Unimaginable. But Jnani tu Atmaiva me matam. Swamiji was Sri Ramakrishna's very self. So it's such a beautiful way it has been put. So others may be Atmiya, others may be dear, but a Jnani is verily my own self. Those who insult him, insult me. Those who worship him, worship me. That is why in the Upanishads it is said that those who serve these knowers of God, they also receive the grace of God. But these knowers of God are not easy to find, and even if we find them till we are prepared, we won't be able to recognize them and won't be able to benefit from their company unless we are fit. So this is the thing. So and we have already seen that to the other two, those who have desires, they are dear to God, they love God, but they also love other things. But for the Jnani, I alone am the object of his unsurpassing love. So this is also put in a very beautiful way in Sanskrit. Let me see if I can. See, here it is. I'll just share it. It can't be translated actually. It is such a beautiful expression in Sanskrit. So you can see here, one who has realized me as his own self is Atma eva, Atmaiva, na matto bhinna, none other than the self. If he is none other than the self, then what is he? Kim tu aham eva, he is me only, he is not different from me. Aham eva sa iti. Mama matam nischayah. This is my conclusion. Mama matam. So Jnani is Atmaiva, na matto bhinna. He is not different from me. Then what is he? Aham eva sa iti. Aham eva sa iti. Jnani is myself. Myself only. And another very beautiful expression, I'll just God says, this is one thing which God says, and the other thing which he says that the Jnani who has realized me, he is Yuktatma. Yuktatma means with his mind constantly absorbed in me. It is called Mai Samahita Chitta. Mai Samahita Chitta means his mind is completely absorbed in me. Sa Jnani Yuktatma Sada Mai Samahita Chitta. His mind is completely absorbed in me. He is completely diluted in me. And what is said in this verse? Asthita. Asthita means he has accepted me, Mam. He has accepted me only, the Lord, the infinite, the absolute bliss, as the Anuttamam, super excellent Gatim goal. Gatim means goal, and Anuttama means super excellent. So he is accepted me only as the super excellent goal. Or Asthita also has another meaning, that is, he is established in me. He is established in God. What does this mean? Where are ordinary people established? Ordinary people like us, where are we established? We are established in the body. We are established in I and mine. Whatever is good for me, that we call good. Whatever is bad for us, we call bad. That is our way of judgment. Whatever is bad for my son, my daughter, my wife, my children, that is bad. Whatever is good for them is good. That is our standard of judgment. So we are established in this horrible I and mine. But the Jnani is established in something completely opposite. He is established in God. So this being established in body is called Deha Abhiman. Abhiman here does not mean egotism. Abhiman here means what we think ourselves to be. Deha, body, Abhiman, we think ourselves to be the body. Why do brothers fight? Why do fathers and sons fight? Why do relatives fight? Why do sometimes even friends fight? Why? Only because of this Deha Abhiman, identification with the body, which leads to selfishness. And it is this Abhiman is not limited to body only. From the body it spreads. It becomes Parivar Abhiman. My family, anybody else is outsider. Gram Abhiman, it spreads to my village. Desha Rashtra Abhiman, it spreads to my country. So Gram Abhiman in villages, what happens sometimes in India? This is my land. At night, what will they do? Some fence has been put. At night, they will go and remove the fence. They will put it 2 feet ahead. And in the morning, they will claim that no, this was there before, this is my land. These are the things which are done. And Rashtra Abhiman. Now, you all know that earlier Burma, Pakistan, all were part of India. Now they are separate countries and they are fighting with India or fighting with each other. We were all one. Now we are imagining we are different. There is no physical barrier. Nothing has been constructed between India and Pakistan. There is nothing physical there. It is all in the mind. In the mind, we decided that we were one, now we will become separate. So one person is identifying with himself with India, he says I am an Indian. One person is identifying himself with Pakistan, he says I am a Pakistani, let us fight. Of course, the normal poor population doesn't fight. It is the leaders who start all the problem. So all this is because of this Deha Abhiman, Rashtra Abhiman, etc. And all these are not good in the eyes of God. All these are due to illusion, due to ignorance. But one who want, because these are not good in the eyes of God, those who want to attain God should get rid of these. God, it is a beautiful song is there. जातों नस्लों के बंटवारे झूठ कहाए तेरे द्वारे. Bantware means separation. Jat means caste, nasal, all these caste, creed, religion, race, all these bantware, they are all false in the court of God. Why? तेरे लिए सब एक समान. All these are only your name, God, Ishvara, Allah, these are only your name. And because you are one to all these divisions are not liked by you. So beautiful way of putting this. So we are established in this I and mine, which is the cause of all the problems in the world. But the Jnani is established in one who contains an infinite numbers of universe within himself. This is the difference. This is a huge difference. We are identified with this small thing, and Jnani identifies himself with one who is a repository of infinite number of universes. Infinite. This is the difference. That is why it is not for without any reason that God says that Jnani is not different from me. So wherever the Jnani sees, whatever he sees God himself. अब हम कासों बैर करों जित देखों तित सावरी सूरत. Savari means Krishna was called Savara because he was dark. Savara in Hindi means dark. So a devotee of Krishna says, अब हम कासो बैर करो, with whom shall I have enmity? जित देखो, wherever I see Savari Surat, I see my beloved Krishna everywhere. So with whom shall I fight? Who is separate from me? All are there by my very own self. So this is the wonderful state. Wherever I see, only you are there. Tu hi tu hai. One darshan, one vision which sees only God. That is the thing. So these great souls have neither raga, this to special attachment, nor dvesha, nor aversion, nor any enmity, nor any fighting, nor apna na paraya. Apna means my own, paraya means a stranger. So nobody is my own and nobody is a stranger. Neither they have any special attachment for somebody, nor have they aversion. So they are on such a high state, and that state can only be actually understood by those who are themselves established in that state. Otherwise, be attached to this small body and keep on suffering life after life. In Hindi they say, other than that, it is just noon tel agun lakdi. Noon tel agun lakdi means salt, oil. That lakdi means they used to cook food with that wood. It is wood. So leave, if this is other than this, all in the world is this noon tel agun lakdi. What? Worldly things. That is all. Eat, sleep, be merry, hoard money, and give your life in keeping that money very safe. This is the world. This is the world which ordinary people are established in. But the Jnani lives in a completely different world. That is why he lives in the world when he can say that Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham. So only these people are fit to say that. That great truth. So it is a unique state, and without three things. First is Vairagya, second is Satsang, and the third is yearning. We cannot even hope to even start our journey. We can just forget about spirituality if these three are not there. Company of the holy, yearning for God, and Vairagya. Vairagya means an aversion to everything worldly. That is the great aim which we have. So when we talk about big things and all this, Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, etc., we should be very, very clear on where we actually stand, what is our state. Talking big things won't do, you see. So one just does not become a devotee, one does not become a Jnani. Of course, Jnani who can leave, one does not become a devotee without making great sacrifices. This, we should have no illusions about that. Absolutely not. If we think something else, we are completely wrong. So a Jnani is a Yukta Atma and established in God. That is why he is so great. And Mam eva anuttamam gatim. So there is no higher state than this which he is established in. There is nothing higher. This is the speciality about a Jnani. So a Jnani is therefore na matto bhinna. He is not separate from me. This is the great compliment which God pays a Jnani. And next verse, there is no time to discuss in detail. Actually, it will take one whole class to discuss that. It is such an important verse. So we will just have to be satisfied with, I will just tell the translation. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. At the end of many births, bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. At the end of many births, he is constantly adoring for so many births. Then he is imbued with the knowledge that, what knowledge? That Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. There is nothing else than God. Only God exists. That is the highest knowledge. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. And he is such a high souled one is indeed very rare. Very, very rare. Because this state is not attained in a day. One has to do good, one has to keep on sacrificing, one has to keep on practicing vairagya, renunciation, all these through life after life after life. Then finally, all of us one day, if we sincerely practice in this way, we are sure to attain this state, higher than which there is no other, absolutely nothing. So that jnani is sudurlabha. Durlabha means rare. When you add sudurlabha means he is extremely rare, rarest of the rare. So this is what God says about these 4 types of devotees. So slowly, wherever we are, we have to slowly progress to the highest goal, which is that of a jnani. Our sincere practices and of course the grace of God, one day, like all rivers finally merge into the ocean, all souls will one day finally attain that state. And after attaining that, there is nothing more left to be achieved. We are in perfect peace and bliss forever and ever and ever. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.